Tim Cook and company have retained counsel as litigation involving the recently acquired Beats Electronics threatens to develop. In a legal filing, founders Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine have been accused of wrongly pushing out partner Noel, another industry heavy hitter, knowing a deal with Apple was brewing. Bloomberg Businessweek senior writer Paul Barrett has been following the story, and he joins us now with the latest details. Paul, I feel like I don't know this guy. Anyone who knows Beats by Dre, they immediately think it's Dr. Dre, it's Jimmy Iovine, maybe will.i.am was in there a little bit, but this guy?
Well, but this guy is the guy who says...
Is he the Winklevoss brothers of Beats?
Well, you know, certainly that's Apple's position. But this guy, Noel Lee, who made a small fortune with high-end stereo cable beginning in the late 1970s, says he's the guy who actually built the headphones. He says Dr. Dre did not sit down and actually put the electronics together to design the headphones.
Believable.
He's the guy who did it. He arranged for the design, he arranged for the manufacture, the distribution. He's the one who got it into the stores, and now he wants his share, now that it turns out the company is worth $3 billion.
It's a great story, and you know, I believe that Dr. Dre didn't sit down and physically put the headphones together, but the way Jimmy Iovine and Dre tell it is they had this idea to make speakers that eventually morphed into headphones, and then they just looked for basically a contractor to do that for them.
Right. Well, and this is often a dispute in business. You've got someone who's got very valuable intellectual property in the form of their reputation and their connections. That's Iovine and Dre, and you've got someone who can actually build something, and that's Noel Lee. Contracts get drafted, and then there's disputes over what the contracts mean. Iovine and Dre say that certain events took place that triggered what's known as a change of control clause, and that meant the company...
And Lee signed it. And Lee signed it.
Correct.
It goes without saying, a deal this successful, of course, lawsuits will ensue. People will claim they, you know, were more involved than they were. How real is this? How much of a threat? How scared should Apple be?
Well, Apple doesn't see this as a threat at all. In fact, they think they're going to be able to toss this suit out before trial. The real danger is whether this fight gets in front of a jury. If a judge decides this and it's a matter of parsing contract language, Apple may be an advantage. But if this gets in front of a jury and it's a David and Goliath fight where you've got this very sympathetic guy who says, look, I toiled for all these years, invested all this money, my whole small company in this, and now these big guys are trying to rip me off, a jury might go for that.
By the way, I recently bought a pair of Monster DNA headphones, which are fantastic. Does Monster not make Beats headphones anymore?
That's right. Monster is out of the Beats business, and they're trying to scramble and get back in on their own, under their own steam, and with their own...
And Beats is, I guess, just using some other subcontractor.
Well, Beats is making its headphones in China the way most people make their headphones. But of course, Beats is now much more than headphones. Beats is now also streaming music
service,
and has been folded into Apple Music, which is a much bigger operation.